3 running technique rules to improve your foot strike. That is what we are talking about today, so get ready. So guys, here's the deal with our foot strike. As soon as we start thinking about it, it gets weird, right? Our running starts to get weird, and when we start to overthink how we move, our fluidity and gracefulness, or whatever fluidity and gracefulness we had, it tends to go away and it becomes very robotic and stiff. And I tell you what, if I start to go too far down that path, what happens is it exposes me to another form of injury, right? And maybe I'm dealing with some injury right now, which is why I'm working on my foot strike. Maybe someone told you that you were heel striking a lot, where your heel is coming to the ground first, you need to change that. So all of a sudden you started to run up on your toes. If you do that, I can almost guarantee you dollars to donuts, if you're not sort of following the right order of operations, something else is gonna go a little bit amiss. So that's really, really important. We have to remember not to overthink this thing, and we also have to remember that our foot strike is actually an outcome of other aspects about a run technique, and it's not a product. It's not something that I can control directly. It's one of those things that if I actually work on some other things, which we'll talk about in this video, my foot strike is gonna actually start to fix itself. It's gonna do it slowly, sustainably, safely, where my body's gonna be able to adapt, and I'm gonna be a lot happier. All right, rule number 2 is to know yourself. Things get weird otherwise, and that was kind of our first rule, like not to overthink this thing and to understand that our foot strike is the result of a bunch of other things. The second rule means we have to know what those other things are to really understand why our feet are hitting the ground the way they are. Now, there's a few different ways I'm going to talk about. The first one would actually be to look at your shoes. It's such an easy thing to do. You just pull your shoes off the ground and know the wear of them. You can see these guys, I got a little mud on the tires, but these guys have been doing a lot of trail running, a lot of winter trail running for a marathon that I did a couple months back. But I can pull these guys off and I can just examine the pattern here just to sort of see where my feet are tending to hit the ground. I notice that, you know, I tend to land a little bit on the outside of either edge of the foot and I tend to roll in. I'm not full heel striking because these guys are still nubbed up here, but I can start to see this part of the shoe starts to get a little bit worn. We're not going to go too diagnostic here today in terms of what all this stuff means, but if you're someone who's seeing a lot of wear in the front of your shoes, hey, maybe that's a sign that you're running a little bit more in your forefoot and your toes. If you're starting to see a lot of the heels rubbed or worn off, that's a sign that maybe you're heel striking or overstriding. If you're starting to see really uneven wear, it's time to get a new pair of shoes, but also maybe that's telling you that you've got some funky asymmetries going on there. The next thing is to actually unplug your headphones and to listen to your feet. If we're running pretty well, our footfall should be pretty quiet. Am I slapping the ground every single time? That's another sign. Just by that audible change, sometimes that changes things a little bit. The other thing would be to have a friend watch you run. If they could film you, great. Even if they could just give you some feedback on your next run, that is super helpful. They're like, hey, we noticed that your body's a little slumped, your feet land a little heavy, your feet swing out, you do this funky thing when you collapse. Your teammates can really give you that feedback that's so valuable, and just by watching each other, you actually get better at coaching each other, so it's kind of a good deal. Finally, one of the best ways to really know yourself is to take the shoes off and run barefoot every once in a while. Just by running barefoot, it really gives you a good kinesthetic sense of what your feet are doing on the ground. These shoes with these elevated levels of cushion are so great for pounding the roots, rocks, and trails and the extended period of the pavement. But what happens is that when we have our foot in these little soft, pillowy cradles, is that our feet become a little soft and desensitized. We don't know what's going on. So know yourself, follow those steps. That's going to give you a good baseline of what's going on. So in terms of our third rule of actually improving our foot strike and fixing it, we actually want to work a top-down approach. So as opposed to thinking about my feet and trying to change my footfall somewhat arbitrarily, I actually want to work on everything further up here. And if I know that if I kind of start with good posture, I get an improved, better arm swing, a better hip position, and better pulling mechanics, my feet are going to start to land a little bit more underneath me. because I'm not overthinking my footfall, things aren't getting weird, they're staying relaxed and loose, and I'm also promoting all these other good things I need for strong, powerful mechanics. And it's gonna happen over time. So I've got all these good things going for me. Now, I just condensed a ton of stuff on run technique all in there. We have a lot of videos on run technique and posture on our channel, so you can do these deeper dives, but I wanna just give you two little takeaways for today. One is just gonna be posture and position, finding that nice upright position. My chin's nice and neutral. I have my ears stacked over my shoulders, my hips, my knees and ankles. And notice that good posture is not this, right? If I'm hanging out all day here, I'm not actually giving myself the good position that I need. I need to spend more time here. The other thing is going to be cadence. And we talk about cadence a lot too. Why? Because it's so dang important. What we're gonna work on today is just cadence with a little metronome. I have a little app, it's called the Metro Timer. Sometimes it's fun to run with a, you know, like a little physical metronome that you could clip to your belt, but this one is set to 90. And I can think about just, if I step away here, every time I hear that beat, I'm just picking that one foot up underneath. Notice that when I'm thinking about my cadence, I'm actually running in place. So a lot of times when we start to work on our cadence, we start to run faster than we want. I challenge you to do that by running in place. You won't go very fast. All you're really working on is this pulling of your heels up off the ground. This is a virtuous cycle when I do this, because in order for me to pull my feet quickly off the ground, I need to get taller in a better position to do so. So when I start to get tired, I lose posture and position, my cadence goes down the garbage chute, and just by focusing on your cadence and increasing it, it actually improves your posture as well. So it gets you on this virtuous cycle. And then what you could do is, once you're here, something like this, you could start to slowly run, right? So I'm here, finding that rhythm, slowly run, and then I could start to increase my speed. And notice that as I do that, my feet, once again, if you just watch my feet this time, they're really just kind of landing underneath me. Now, a lot of times 90 is thrown around as this magic number. There is no one magic number that's specific to you. That 88 to 90 is a good benchmark for a lot of people to be around and over, but you can challenge yourself by running at even higher levels of cadence. However, if you're someone who's found that your cadence, if you measure it, is closer to 75 or 80 steps per minute, going to 90 might be too big of a jump. So give yourself the benefit of doing smaller increments and smaller jumps as you go along. But working on this is gonna make a huge difference in terms of where your feet hit the ground. You're gonna do it naturally, it's gonna feel a whole lot better. Boom, you're gonna be killing it. Guys, one more thing before we're out of here. If you liked this little Footstrike video, go ahead and let us know. Hit that like button down below. If you have any comments or questions on things we talked about, you want to follow up with us on anything, hit us up in the comments section. Any requests for future videos, definitely drop them down there too. If you want more videos like this, definitely subscribe to our channel. We got so much great stuff coming out every single week. Everything on, you know, from further run technique stuff to strength training, to injury prevention work, to run workouts that will make you a better runner from 5K to marathon. Definitely hit us up there and subscribe. And finally, we got a free gift for you. We've got 2 weeks of workouts, a little workout plan we put together for you. And these have some of our favorite run strength and mobility habits. They're super powerful things you can do at home right now that make a huge impact. All you need to do to get them is to click this link in this video. If you happen to be on a mobile device, go ahead and hit that link down in the description. It's just gonna take you to our page. Once you're there, enter your name and email, and I'll be able to personally send you your 2-week quick start to strong, fast, injury-free running. Once again, guys, thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.